elevating the outdoor living.
Believe it or not, my blog plans today was supposed to be at the hotel, the Marriott in Naperville. And as you can see behind me, it's a whole different scene, and it's early as heck in the morning. Another one of those early morning runs. I think it's 6 o'clock flight out to Atlanta, Georgia. My buddy Clayton Ogletree out of Augusta, Georgia is working a nice size project. They're laying pavers for a driveway area for a brand new baseball stadium that's going up. And he called me up last night, had a few questions. And even though they have it under control, they know exactly what's going on. He said, Dwayne, I just want to bring you in as a consultant for a third eye to make sure the levels are together and everything's right. So here we are today. Welcome to blog, I think number 17, and now another one heading out again. Sometimes it happens like that. Actually, it happens like that a lot. I can get a phone call sometimes by noon and be on the plane by 6 and out of here. Another 2-hour flight knocked out here in Atlanta, Georgia now. Getting set up for the rental car. I'm a little early, so I'm waiting for my spot. I do this a lot, so I have like this preferred account, so they'll have the car and everything ready. I don't have to stand at the booth. Got here about a little bit about 30-40 minutes, a little early than what I booked it for, so I'm waiting on that to get that set up, just kind of hanging out a little bit and get going. And then from here, I think I got about a 2-hour drive down to Augusta, Georgia is where the project is. And I'll be hanging out with Clayton and helping those guys get set up over there. Rental car check. I think I'm like an hour and 45 minutes out now to get to my spot. Like I said, y'all, this is last minute. You know, I was sitting in the airplane flying here, and I got to thinking, it's like, you know, you kind of, when you look out the window, you're looking to like infinity. And it makes one think. It makes you think. It makes you think about life. And you kind of say, how did I get here? You mean, how do you get to this point in life where you're in the landscape design field? And I know we probably not say we're such a sensitive society, but ain't really too many brothers up in this field too. So you look back and you reflect on where you came from and stuff like that. And a lot of people don't have a clue of where this came from, where it started. You guys probably will not believe how this thing even started. Back in the day, I was in high school. My father owned like a lawn care landscape business. We did grass cutting. We had like several McDonald's. We had some apartment complex. We had, you know, I mean, we had a decent amount of business and we were doing well. So my brothers and I would go work. It was my brother Drew, my brother Roy. Sometimes Carlos is more or less my brother too. Maurice, my older brother. Sometimes David would come out. And my oldest brother, he was kind of pioneer the whole thing working with my dad, was Bernard. I became of age and I used to go to high school with the pickup truck. My dad bought me a truck and he said, you can have this truck, but the only way you can have this truck is you got to go to work. And so I'm like, cool, you know, you're young, 16 years old, you got a car. Hey, I drove the lawnmowers to work, to school. I remember my friends used to tease me. I pull up at the lawnmowers like, he cutting grass, he cutting grass. And you know, it kind of hurt my ego a little bit. So all y'all who used to laugh at me, to hell with y'all, because y'all did kind of hurt my ego a little bit. I never thought of like 20-some years later that I'd be flying back and forth, working on projects all over the United States. Now, Grant, I never would have thought that in a million years. Never, ever, ever. I remember I went to the Marine Corps and I got out of the Marine Corps. I took architectural engineering, drafting, and all those courses and classes while I was in the Corps. I did some in high school too. And I remember getting out and we had the grass cutting business and there was this trade show. A guy, Indian, Chinese looking guy, goofy head, real big head. He was bragging about making money in the wintertime. And I was telling him like, hey, you know, we shut down in the wintertime. We got to wait for snow, blah, blah. He said, man, let me show you something. I'll show you something about these brick paver patios. I'm like, brick paver patios? What's a paver patio? I had no clue what a paver patio was. But here he said the magic word. I will give you $200 if you get me a brick patio job. So, hey, $200? Back in the day, that was a lot of money. So every time we do our route, I would ask somebody, hey, you want a patio? 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 Finally, I got a client who said yes. I called Ron. Ron went in there. He took care of the patio. He was in there for 1 week and made $8,000, and he wrote me a check for $200. And I remember like yesterday when he put the check in my hand, I grabbed his arm and I said, how'd you do that? He said, hey, come work with me a little bit and I'll teach you the ropes. He said, I really don't have any employees. I'm starting my business fresh. And so we kind of worked together. We split the profits down the center. And since I had my brothers cutting grass, I'm like, cool, because that same client pays $800 a year and she'll never pay her bill on time. So I hope she don't see this video. She'd be mad as hell. But she don't ever pay her bill on time, and she gave him $8,000 in a week. I'm like, I got to learn that. So I work with him, and granted, he was a brand new business. He had a family, he had a wife and 2 kids. So him and I worked, even though we were supposed to split profit, he never really gave me any money. Like, and you know what? I never complained. I never really complained. I just learned and learned and learned. And then he found out that I can draw. He's like, dude, you like engineer, architect? I said, yeah. So we went out and bought this big easel table board. And so I used to draw the designs for all the patios. Now, granted, this was back before outdoor living, so the patios were very, very basic. It was nothing high detailed. You mean square rectangles, or the big one was big circle, small circle, and we always gave like a tree extra. And honestly, guys, that's how it started. And when I was on the plane, I was thinking about 2 things. Is you have to be a very important person to where people need you to the point where they said, hey, let's put you on a plane, get you some cars, let's get you down here because we need this taken care of. And I take that to heart, you mean, because if somebody is willing to invest that much in me, I have to do the best that I can possible. It's only elevating the outdoor living. It's also elevating my mentals, is elevating me too. The flip side too is everything that I've learned how to do and I'm doing now for money, I've actually learned for free. Believe it or not, I taught myself how to do the 3D thing. I mean, Joan, man, I can't remember her last name, but Joan is the trainer for Structure Studios. The first day I took her class, she was teaching everybody how to draw this basic design. I was actually drawing a design to go sell a job that I actually ended up selling for like $36,000 back in the day, and I needed a better reference to show them. So while she's teaching them how to do something else, I'm drawing something else. And she's like, when the class is over, she's like, well, show us what you drew. And I flipped the screen and she's like, oh my God. So I taught myself how to do 3D. I was taught how to lay pavers basically for free. Really didn't pay much money. Designing, studying, outdoor living, things like that. I've kind of went in it. And now I've even mentored now with Nancy. So I go hang out. Yeah, you guys see me work with Nancy, but really Nancy's 30-something years ahead of me. So a lot of times I just go spend there hanging out just to suck in the knowledge of what she has. She takes every design that I have, I send it to her, and she breaks them down. Move this, change this, I don't like this, da-da-da-da. And my feelings are hurt. But I'm like, but it's Nancy. She knows exactly what she's doing, and she's getting it right. But yeah, sometimes you just never know where life is going to take you. And you're here. And now I have a vlog. Can you see this garbage that's going on now? I have the wrong friends in life. I really do. You mean? The conversation was last night. What time was it? At 9:30, 10 o'clock at night. Hey, Wayne, I need some help. You know what I mean? I got it under control, but I mean, it really can help you look at it. And next thing you know, I'm on a plane to Atlanta.
And then drive to Augusta.
And a 2-hour drive to Augusta to lay some brick. I don't even get the design. This is probably one of the busiest construction sites I've seen in a long time. I mean, there is stuff everywhere. Every angle you see, there's something going on, but that's the key to plans. Whenever you have the proper plans and the proper prints, you can have multiple projects going on exactly at the same time, and people are in their way, they're not falling all over the place. You got elevations spelled out, so when one spot is finished, it actually lines up to the other spot. You know, my boy Clayton, he called me, how did this thing happen, man? He called me up at like 9:30, 10 o'clock at night, said, bro, we got to get down here, got to get some help. But what are we doing, bro? What you doing?
we're laying
Explain your company and everything. I want to give a shout out.
I'm with Curb Appeal. We're out here at the Green Jacket Stadium, and they put these daggone pavers on a 45, and I was stumped, and I just needed some help from my homeboy. I said, Dwayne, this ain't adding up, babe.
Last minute flights, rental car, we down here, we knocking it out. Hey, thanks for following us today. We're elevating the outdoor living. You got like one of them, I'm just gonna say it. Why you gotta have one of them friends that got you all out in the country and shit? He got me out here some type of little dingo type thing. We out in the country talking about I got 130 acres. I don't even know what 130 acres is. All I see is a bunch of trees. Ain't nothing growing out here. Man, this is crazy. Man, come on, we gotta go through lakes and waters and trails. This dude is off the chain. He one of them ones.